Today on Drawbli.
Ben is painting his magnum opus.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Abby.
And we are self-taught artists documenting our drawing adventures because art is better when shared with friends.
So click that subscribe button if you're new around here.
And don't forget to check out our guidebook on daily drawing, linked below.
So Ben, this is your magnum opus. And
or at least that's what you called it.
Well, yes, but I have seen the finished result, and truly, I was just like, oh my gosh, you went and leveled up without me. You've left me behind.
I'm leaving you in the dust. Yeah, I really liked... it's so hard to describe this feeling, but, you know, you never know when it's going to happen, but you're working on a sketch, and you finish up the sketch, and you're like, whoa, I love this sketch. And then, like, everything from there just continues to go well. Mm-hmm. That didn't happen on this.
No?
No, I loved the sketch, but I hit a point in the middle of painting this where I was like, oh no, help me.
Really?
It was when painting the face. I'll describe it when it comes up. The colors in the face here are so, like, varied and splotchy and all over the place. It was so hard to figure out what was going on.
Oh, well, you really battled through that, and I admire that because the finished result is so worth whatever you went through to get there.
Yes, I really went through it so much to get there. I really like the way this one turned out, and I also had a lot of fun working on it. But there was a point here in the middle when working on the face, the skin tone, and just trying to, like, all these lights and shadows and stuff, trying to figure all that out was very, very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But
I can't imagine. I mean, the fact that when it's finished, I feel like it has a very good and clear form and direction shows that, you know, you weren't just guessing at this stuff. You really put thought and time and attention to it.
I tried
to make it
for sure.
look the way it's supposed to look. So
yeah, I really liked working on the background and kind of like blurring that out.
I love how you did that.
It really helped create the sense of the space and, like, you know, make it feel more solid. Which is something we've talked about in the past. Instead of just drawing a character or a person living in the void with a white space behind them, which so many artists do, including us, instead giving them a slight background.
This is a really cool way to go about that too, because it's not overly ambitious, perhaps, for where we are to have like a blurred background and a simple foreground.
Right.
And although that is something I'd like to be able to do eventually, to create like complex environments for characters, I like that you did that, because then you're getting an environment but not, you know, exhausting yourself getting there.
Yes. This is the point, like, here when I'm working on the face where things were just, like, all over and I was just trying to make it all work. But I started to blend things, and it was around this stage where I decided to shift focus and work on this little granite countertop that she's laying her head against. And that gave me some time to refresh. It was right after I had blurred some things in the face, and when I came back to it, I was like, okay, it's not terrible. I can still keep working on it and pushing it to be better. But I had to take some time away to get some more perspective.
Nice.
But luckily there were some different areas that I could shift my focus to. And while working on this, I was listening to the last few episodes of Critical Role Season 2.
Oh yeah, how'd you like it?
I guess I still am very behind on Critical Role, but they're very long episodes. I don't watch them, I just listen to the podcast because that's all I really have time for, and I barely have enough time for that. But it's very enjoyable, and it's really cool to listen to a show like that has 150 episodes that are each at least 3 hours long, sometimes 5 or more. I mean, sometimes they get really long. But it's so cool to listen to a story like that come to its conclusion. There are so many, like, payoffs that make it worth listening to.
Yes.
It's just a really cool feeling.
I think it's so cool how they can do that too without having, like, plotted out the entire story
I
at a
love
time
that
like an
aspect
author
of
would.
it.
The fact that it doesn't just come to a jumbled mess at the end, but something cohesive and beautiful and amazing.
Well, it's group storytelling, you know? Everybody's got their hand on the ball. You listened to the first arc of The Adventure Zone, which is probably one of my favorite stories of all time.
So good, yes.
I have probably gone back and listened to the finale like 3 or 4 times, and it's still so good. If you've listened, well, I mean, you've listened to it. I would recommend going back and listening to it again. It's awesome.
I might have to do that. That sounds really cool. I'm nostalgic for the theme music for that always.
Oh, yeah. It's very good.
Yeah, because when I first listened to it, we had just begun dating, and so I would listen to it on my way to visit you. And I'd get off work and I'd head off literally into the sunset, because at that time the sun was setting, and I'd be going into the sunset down south into where you lived, and listening to that. It was really nice.
Brings back memories.
Yeah.
Just like this painting, she is thinking of memories. Here.
Yes.
There's some story.
Absolutely.
There's emotion.
For sure.
There's
for sure.
texture.
I love it. I love it. Such a beautiful piece. I love the way you've created her jewelry too, with like just indications of light and texture and darkness that translate really well as also.
Yeah, there were definitely areas of this that I, didn't work on as much because I didn't want them to be areas of focus. So like the hand down there and the rings, I was like, okay, I'll do like a little bit, but not a ton. Because 1, I don't want it to be this big focal point. But 2, I don't want to spend a ton of time working on that. I'd rather work in other areas.
Totally fair.
And that's something we've been mentioning a lot on a lot of episodes of Drawbli, of working on things that you want to work on. As I believe, and I think you do as well, that is the most important part of drawing.
I like how much expression you have in her hair already by using like different brushes and texture brushes. That translates really well, really fast. I kind of get bogged down in hair a lot, trying to make it read like a specific way and have locks going a specific way. And you have the actual forms of her hair, but you clearly like didn't like belabor over it excessively.
Yeah, sometimes things are just kind of like working a little bit, and I honestly didn't really think about the hair for this very much because it just kind of got to a place where I was like, that's good. And then I didn't have to think about it too much after that. So I would say very rarely is that the case, but that was the case here with this one at least. Hair is something that I normally really struggle with.
I feel like something you could do for this piece if you wanted was Google like how to add those specks of dust in light beams and add those somewhere in here, because that could add a really cool element to this as well.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I have these memories as a kid, and we had this one window at the side of our house where the sun would always come through in this big beam. It was like an octagonal tiny window, and kind of a weird window when I think back to it. But it was an old home in today's time, old style. And you could see so much dust in the air through that. And when I was a kid, I was like, this is where all the dust is. But now as an adult, I'm like, no, all that dust is just in the air all the time and we're breathing it in.
It's all everywhere. I know. Isn't that alarming? But as a kid, it's just kind of magical. You're like, wow, it sparkles.
And this is why we shouldn't breathe through our mouths.
Precisely.
Here I am putting the finishing touches on my artwork. I have not leveled up as much as you believe. I think I just spent a lot more time on this. I spent, I want to say, like 3 hours, 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours.
That's amazing. That's a good amount of time for us. That's really cool. This is so gorgeous. I think that, just the fact that you're able to do this is amazing. It shows that you've really dedicated so much time and work to this, and you're really growing.
Yeah, thank you. One thing I was listening back to an old Drawbli episode that I was mentioning like how we don't work on stuff typically that long, but this was one of my longer pieces, and I think it was definitely worth it this time around.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you want it to be worth it, click that like and subscribe button and check out our guidebook at the link below.
Share your work on Instagram with the hashtag Drawbli, because drawing is better with friends.
And this is the part where we say
goodbye.
Goomba. Abby, this woman laying with her head on the counter, I can tell, is about to be you very soon.
Oh, yeah.
You're about to go lay down your head.
I'm gonna go lay down. Yeah, I'll see ya. I'm gonna go lay down now.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.